yeah. Oh, yeah. Why? Oh, no. Why should we have an easy life? Go ahead.
Well, so here's my question. How stupid do they think we are? I mean, how stupid? I understand that we are stupid, okay? I understand that there are people out there that are stupider than you and I by a long shot, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I think of myself as being a rather clever lad when I compare myself against a lot of what I see out there. But I'm not. I'm not all that bright. Still, I'm bright enough to see that if they ban Alex Jones and Louis Farrakhan and the people they're talking about banning, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing is that they're leaving two things. One of them is an enormous market for people who are far right as hell, but not Louis Farrakhan or Alex Jones or one of those people, to buy a Facebook time or Instagram time, or to become a big Facebook or Instagram person, even though they're just as far right as Alex Jones, as long as they don't say something that Farrakhan or Jones or one of these other people is quoted as having said.
Well,
they'll be able to be as hateful as they fucking want.
The article I wrote today was all about Julian Assange, right?
Yeah.
And I made the comment about our First Amendment is gone. The second, you Peckerwoods better understand our second one is right behind that. And now I understand what Ralph wrote me in the letter. He wrote me a letter while I was talking to you. He said, "And we're not far behind, partner." In other words, all of us, we're not far behind as being censored.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
Oh, you think so?
I do. I think he's wrong. I think what's happened is that Alex Jones and Louis Farrakhan and 6 or 7 other people have become targeted individuals.
Mm-hmm. There it is. There it is. See how we keep coming back to this common theme? And we keep coming back and showing the people in Anthony's group, look, you got your keys scratching your phone number on the cop's door. There's more to it. There's a whole car there, and you ain't seen it yet.
Well, it's there. It's there. So these guys become targeted individuals. They're denied access to what is a third arm of the media, if you will, a fifth estate. What passes for the same thing that they used to have in Rome back when Caesar was, trying to remain emperor or become emperor, which was a network of memes in the alleys that people could read and look at, and then a lot of narrative that was common to
exactly. They're like they found in Pompeii. When they
exactly like what they found in Pompeii.
They had memes. The emperor with the biggest slong in the world, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it had a lot of meaning to them.
Right. Yes. This was somebody voicing either support for or opposition to an individual, or to a cause that might have several individuals attached to it, and these narratives that would be common to what you might hear, say, 2 or 3 blocks over at the intersection of another corner, or in an ale house, or wherever the fuck you heard shit like this. It was the word of mouth. It's the way that jokes about that lunar vehicle that blew up and killed the science teacher. How jokes about that made it all the way over to the West Coast before the sun set that day.
Yeah, I remember. What did she say to her husband that morning? You feed the kids and I'll feed the fish. Remember that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. There was a ton of them, and I couldn't figure it out. I kept thinking, how is it that some, and then later on maybe there were 1 or 2 other examples country knew about it. I mean, and there were things like jokes and routines and commentary and stuff that were all very similar to each other that could not possibly have been developed in one day if you'd had access to everybody's television set. I mean, you must have wondered about that yourself.
I wish I could find out how to do it deliberately. You know,
somebody did do it deliberately.
I know, but there's got to be some way. I told people 100 times, man, when Jackie was making her movies and everything, I said she can wipe her nose and take a sip of coffee and get 35,000 views. I can cut my pecker off with a pipe cutter and maybe 35 views, maybe.
Well, that's because cutting your pecker off with a pipe cutter has become so common. I mean, nowadays, there are these mass events, you know, where 500 guys will gather and cut their peckers off at the same time with pipe cutters. It's just a matter of numbers now. It's like school shootings or something.
Yeah, we had another school shooting yesterday. Anyway, back on the subject. Yeah, these memes. The people make their political decisions based on that stuff too.
Well, exactly. That becomes political opinion. It's like the blob. It's moving down the road, and everything it comes into contact with, it absorbs. But instead of being some discrete part of a larger thing, it is now just a blob. It's that much bigger.
Well,
you know,
like just last week, I got on Trez Lama's political reality page, and I quoted what I deemed to be absolute political reality. Hillary Clinton sold uranium to Uranium One, and this very pretty little girl came on there and just handed me my face right there. And she did it so sweetly. And to my credit, one thing I'm proud of.
Pardon me, sir. Did you drop this in the intersection that you were hurrying through? Jesus, he was in such a hurry.
If you like your face, you can keep your face.
Yeah, thank you.
But, and I made a big point of that when she did that, usually the conservatives will come back and they'll bring up Bill Clinton's sex wife or something like that. Had nothing to do with that. What it had something to do with is I was wrong. I was dead wrong. And that was all there was to it, you know. And she showed it. But these memes, people get a hold of them and they become political truth. And then one side or the other will not back down, and it becomes insane. Just like a Jewish guy. I just watched a film where a Jewish guy was having his Starbucks, right? Wearing his MAGA hat. Okay? And this left-leaning little girl.
Are you telling? Wait, hold on. Did you just say? Are you just not telling me a joke or a story?
No, it's true.
It's got a Jewish guy with a MAGA hat.
It's a true story. The left-leaning girl, made a big deal out of screaming that he was a Nazi and racist and all this kind of stuff, right? And then she left and came back and tried to rally the entire Starbucks against this guy because he was a left-leaning Nazi until he took his MAGA hat off and showed that little funny cap they wear, when they're Orthodox.
Yeah, the yarmulke.
Yeah, and then she went back to her job and got her ass fired off. But people are, it goes from believing in memes and believing in political slogans all the way to that. She was basing everything that she knew about politics on, if you're wearing a red cap with MAGA on it, you therefore must be a racist Nazi. There's no two ways around it. Okay? And
tell me what's really going on. What is going on between you and the MAGA hat thing? And this is
I think that all right, good. I'm glad, but we're going to get into some psychological bullshit. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think it's stupid on both fronts.
argument?
No, the opinion. Number one, when it started out, to me it meant no more than back in the 70s with the people wearing buttons saying Nixon's the one. And there was even a joke photograph showing a pregnant black lady with a button on that says Nixon's the one, you know. And I took it to mean that. MAGA, okay, great. Oh, make America great again. Okay, big deal. You know, but it was seized upon and reinforced, and my conservative listeners are not like this, that kid that got in that Arapahoe's face in Washington with his hat on, okay, he represents something. But the overreaction of the left to it is just as silly. I'm going to wear this red hat and all over Donald Trump. Okay, that's good. But for the left to say, my God, you know what that hat's doing to this country? Well, if you were down in Laredo and you seen the Mexican guy with a cap on that said MAGA on it, and it was some kind of thing in Spanish that meant his father's cement company, no, I don't understand where you're going with this, dude. I really don't. It's just a meme. It's a political statement. It's not something that you take and you formulate your entire political theory on, and that's what's wrong with the country.
Well, yeah, it is a little bit like saying what he said. You know, I mean, it's like wearing a hat that says what he said. But to set to one side, to me, we have just lost sight completely of our sense of spectacle. When we make this, I'm still blown away by the image, because what you have, there are two things that you have there. One of them is this, and that is a cultural idea. That Indian is a walking meme. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
He is a walking fucking meme. And it stands for Native American culture. A reminder, folks, that this is what we used to look like,
mm-hmm.
On this soil. And so that's a walking meme. And it's not a liberal meme, and it's not a conservative meme.
Nope.
But it is a meme, and it is part of our culture. It is part of both cultures.
You know what,
right?
CNN, Fox, they all miss something that you and I know, okay? Because we've been to Navajo land a lot, okay? When he came up there was an argument between those kids and the black Israelites or whatever the hell they were. There was actually
another totally improbable.
A big argument. And the old Indian went in the midst of this, and nobody's seen this but us. And he began to beat the peace drum, the light drum. Doop, 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 doop. Nobody caught that. Nobody.
Well, that's because they were too busy. This is what I'm saying. You had a cultural meme that clashed with another cultural meme.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that there's and we'll talk about this at the level of the individuals involved. But first, let's look at the sheer spectacle. It's godlike. It's like two gods clashing into one another. You have two cultural memes that are both of themselves immortal. In that they lived before our lifetime, and they will live after our lifetimes are gone. And those two things came into conflict with each other. Now, there were individuals involved, and I don't even want to get into these Rastafarian cats, that were up there pretending to be Jewish or whatever. What I want to talk about is the individuals. Now, who were the individuals? One of them was this Native American guy who had come to Washington to pray for peace.
Mm-hmm.
All right? In other words, with as much passion, with more passion for his belief and his belief that his prayer would be meaningful. Just because nothing else is fucking working, he's up there beating his drum, praying for peace. And this is him as an individual. And I don't care what anybody got rode up like or whatever. I don't care about that. I know the look on that kid's face, okay? I know the look on that little motherfucker's face. I've seen that look several times on your brother Scott's face. It is a look that goes, yeah, and what the fuck are you going to do about it? That's the look.
That face that you just want to slap the shit out of, is that what you're trying to say?
It results in a certain level of stress that I can't slap the shit out of that face yet.
Yeah. It was this is the level that our country has sunk to. That something like that would be a major incident and get as much press as it got. No, back in the 60s or so, hang on a second. That's Pam calling, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep on talking because I'm going to text her and ask her what's going on.
Well, okay.
Oh no, hey, hold it. Let me call you right back.
Okay. What button?
The resume button. I paused it.
Yeah.
Okay. I took Pam's call. She's just telling me there's no news out of Belton. Everything's good. She's going to bed. Have a nice night. And I called you back and just push the resume button, and all I got to do is edit out this garbage here and go right back to talking about that kid that you were talking about with the hat.
See, that's why I'm going to be able to add radio talk show host to my to my resume.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, you were saying that this was the level that our nation had sunk to.
Yeah, both sides of the aisle. Now these hearings with Barr, okay? I truly believe that, and this is just my opinion, that the Democrats have showed their entire asses, okay? They got up there and give these long speeches and all this kind of stuff, this and that and everything like that, and started getting called down. They even got called down by CNN, okay? That's bad. They even got called down by CNN.
Well, all that happened was, here's a couple of things that happened. First, the whole thing got opened up by the Senate. Okay? So what they did was they took the two Hamyankles that you have at the door to make sure that nobody comes in wearing a firearm.
Right.
And you promote them now the chief prosecutor. So you have the Senate, which could bungle anything. The Senate could bungle. You know what? I wouldn't let the Senate plan a fucking wedding for me. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm sure I'd get it. It would be overpriced and very spectacular failure. And I didn't know what Congress had in mind. I'm looking at Congress and I'm thinking, you haven't got much to work with here. You got your very best bet is probably to go after the more, a little more of the redactions in the Mueller report, because that's where the real evidence here that's in the Mueller report, what you see there, it was written in such a way that unless they redacted the entire thing, you were going to get a pretty good sense of what it was about. And what it was about was the fact that Donald Trump is up there running the White House by the seat of his pants, literally making last-minute decisions about important affairs, designating jobs that he doesn't like to do to people that are no good at doing them. I mean, and behaving in a way that is illegal. When he told Don McGahn to fire Mueller, that was illegal. It was not. It was. Between him and Kelly Conway, they've broken the Hatch Act more times than I've got fingers and toes, literally. And the truth of the matter is that's what they should have gone after. Instead, what they did was, before they even got around to decide, getting a good look at Trump's taxes or anything like that, what happened? The Senate took it over first. Well, that's because, but we have two problems with the Senate. One of them is the Republicans. The Republicans dominate the Senate, and when important issues are at stake, they will call the nuclear option and vote it straight up the middle. And since they have, I don't know what, 5 more votes, something like that,
mm-hmm.
then they're going to win it every time. Okay. So, and the other problem that we have in the Senate is the Democrats. Those motherfuckers have forgotten how to be politicians. For the last 20, 30 years, they've been sitting up there on Capitol Hill with their thumbs up their asses, fucking their whores that big pharma and big oil and big everybody's been giving them. They've been squaring these whores around, getting laid, taking payoffs. They've gotten soft, and the networks are no longer reliable. They don't have any power. They don't have the power to exert the leadership that they're claiming. That's our situation. That's where we're at. And so for us to sit here like the last two fucking surviving members of the Civil War, you on the north, you on the south, and me on the north, obviously, and spitting at each other, over incidents that happened at Bull Run or Appomattox or Christ who knows what in the Congress before the war ever happened. Instead of getting into all that, why don't we just realize that my side's not right and your side's not right. In fact, your side and my side are not even our side. My side's not for me, and I can see clearly that your side's not for you. It's us and them, and I'm not sure how you fight it. This isn't very good political commentary right now because it doesn't give anybody anything to believe in as far as politics is concerned.
Did you see Nancy Pelosi got up and gave a little speech about 19 minutes or so today, and it was the same claptrap nonsense. I mean, it's all it was. It was just nonsense. I can't believe that the president and the attorney general they're all together in this criminal organization and you're the Speaker of the House. First off, Nancy, it's really nice to see you sober for change, but you're still talking drunk. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that the president and a lot of the people that he's gotten himself closely aligned with are involved in something criminal. I think there's something really wrong with his relationship with Kim Jong-un. I think there's something really wrong with that. And I think there's really something wrong with the fact that he's able to say things like the government should be allowed to have its own television network. I mean, that was at the root of Kafka's book about fascism. Was the media? Conservatives out there in the world, they don't know anything about Franz Kafka. They know they hate him, but they're not really sure why. But somebody will come along and tell them why if he raises his head in some conversation. You're like Saul Alinsky that way. But at the very heart of this fascist ideal, was the idea that the state would have its own state-run information network. And who's got one of those? Kim Jong-un and Putin. Who somehow or another has a bunch of with cuties chasing them around, baring their chests and shaking their boobs and calling for peace. You know, that's propaganda. That's the word you and I learned for it in civics anyway. Your thoughts?
Okay, that's government has originally our government was for the people, by the people, all people stuff, right? And it's supposed to derive its power from the base. Okay, we both know that it has switched where the government is what I call them the new royalty. People in government, they're the new royalty. Okay, that's why Hillary Clinton doesn't go to jail.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like King Edward's court just emerged out of the woodwork of the White House.
Exactly.
And suddenly we've got a court, a royal court.
We've got a royal court. Chelsea Clinton is a member. She's a princess of the royal court. Michelle Obama is the queen in exile.
Have you got a thing for Chelsea Clinton?
Well, yeah. Okay,
I was just wondering.
I like her butt. Okay, all right.
We talk about her a lot, and also you're one of the only people I've ever heard pronounce her name Chelsea.
Well,
it's like you say for every vowel.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna complain here. Okay.
Okay.
When Doc Green challenged her up in, I think it was Iowa and everything, she was wearing these leotards, and I can't get that butt out of my mind. It's psychological bullshit. You might have to counsel me on that.
Doc Green challenged the human being that was wearing leotard.
Yeah.
To what? A race?
No, he got up there, and he asked the first question. That was the only question he got asked. Why couldn't he have his VA benefits when he's a veteran of the Vietnam War? And she kept saying, well, we have a form over here that you can fill out, and we have a form over here that you can fill out. We have a form over here, and he just kept coming back at her. And
I remember that.
The kid had been, she'd been trained. She was there on the stump for her mom and everything, and she honestly didn't know the answer. But like I said, the only thing I kept seeing was the butt. You know, I mean, she's got such an exquisite butt.
Here's some psychological bullshit for you.
Okay.
The whole idea of linguistic programming and those eye movements is that people store information in various ways. Some people store information visually, some people store it auditorily, and some people study or store it kinesthetically or in their feelings. And clearly, you store memory in butts.
Yeah.
You remember butts. Some people are good with faces. Some people are good with names. You're good with butts.
Yeah, that's about it. I can't say it's embarrassing, but yeah, you're right. I never realized that. I'm fixated on Chelsea. I really am. I'm fixated on it. I wonder if she likes pizza.
Well, I don't know. She's right. Just a minute ago, you were talking about her being a member of the royal court.
Yeah.
So, I think you're right. I mean, she runs her own hedge fund, and then her husband's got a hedge fund. Together, they're worth billions. So, billions of dollars.
Chelsea, let down your golden hair. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, these fairy tale individuals do not have to worry about giants or trolls or Billy Goat Gruff or any such thing. These particular royal children, they live in it. They're living happily ever after. You know that when they said happily ever after, every time they would say that, I would think that's got to be like, who lives happily ever after? I mean, I didn't know any. Did you ever know anybody who lived happily ever after?
I just did a study this afternoon of Judge Roy Bean, a lot of new interesting facts. when he would perform a wedding, at the end, when they normally would say, "What God has joined together, let no man put asunder," he would take the man's hand in his hand and say, "May God have mercy on your soul."
Did he have any last words? Does anybody know?
No, he handed his law book to a friend. He went on a whiskey drinking contest and came back on a train, and he went into where he lived there at the church village.
God, when men were men.
Yeah. And he apparently had alcohol poisoning because he died at 10 o'clock that night, and everything. He was a character. He was a real character. He was interesting. He was more interesting than the movies. When you get really studying the real Judge Roy Bean, he was a lot more interesting than the movies. I mean.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. What if they had cell phones in those days, somebody would have called him and said, "Hey, Judge, where you at?" "Well, I'm out tracking a wounded bear."
Like he had a horse thief that they were going to hang, right? And somebody brought the horse back, come up while they were getting ready for the festivities, and he said, "Well, you can't legally hang a man for stealing a horse that's no longer stolen," right? A team crew boss, an Irishman, killed a Chinaman on the railroad crew that was coming through town, and had to arrest him for murder and all that. But about 200 of the Irishmen showed up in his court and said, "We're going to burn it. You indict our foreman, we're going to burn this place down." So he studied his law book and studied his law book. He said, "Okay, my decision is it is illegal to kill a human being, but I can find nothing in this law book that says it's illegal to kill a Chinaman."
Yeah. Hey, we'd both be indicted for laughing like that. I'm telling you right now. Can you imagine the suddenly smiling Chinese faces suddenly falling flat?
Yeah. Have you seen that? I think I've seen that video of this real pretty little Asian girl jogging, and she runs across this guy who's jogging, obviously a European, American, and he says, "Oh, it's a nice day today." And she says, "Oh yeah, finally, your English is so good. Where are you from?" She says, "San Diego. We speak English in San Diego." "But no, where are you from?" He goes, "Well, I was born in Orange County, but my grandmother was from Seoul. I'm Korean. I knew it. I was thinking it was Korean or Japanese, but leaning toward Korea." She goes, "Oh, really? Well, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm just a regular American." "No, where are you from?" "Well, I guess English, And he goes, "Crazy day, Governor. Have a spot of tea. Your fish and chips are amazing."
Yeah. Well, on top of what I already said about Kim Jong-un, we're cooked now. But anyway, we started this off with that kid in the damn MAGA, right?
Yeah.
But see, I'm thinking about this thing about the right and the left. I'm thinking about how when Instagram and Facebook bans Alex Jones and they'll name a bunch of people, the shopping gypsies are going to get. The idea is to stir up the right. Why can't anybody see this?
We wouldn't have the MAGA hats wouldn't make any difference. The kids with the funny haircuts nothing would make any difference if there wasn't so much hate in the country. It wouldn't make any difference, If there wasn't so much hate, that high school kid standing in front of old Chief Terakawa beating his drum wouldn't have made the local news. But there's just enough hate in this country where the left hates the right hates the left. The Vietnamese hate everybody. I mean, the hate, and that's what you and I have been driving home. It's the hate. We got to stop hating each other. Look for.
Hey, do you remember that scene in The Outlaw with Josie Wales where there's this guy and his job is ferrying people back and forth across the river, and those Kansas City J legs come riding up on him, and he's not sure what they are, and he's kind of starting off with a little bit of Dixie, and he winds up with the
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic, because you can see they're Yankees. That's the way it is in our conversations nowadays.
That's the way it is, And like so when I went to California that last time, when I was out to stand, and when I went the last time when I went to the dinner and everything, I was in the biggest nest of liberals you ever saw in your life, okay? And they just treated me like a pet, man. They treated me like a pet. They were the most loving people I ever met in my life.
You know what gets me? Here's the thing. First off, we are not changing jack shit. I heard 3 women today. I'm sitting on the back porch, raining like just God's own pleasurable thunderstorm, and booming thunder and shit. And we're sitting back there, and one of them brings up, well, them Democrats are going to have to stop this business. They got to let go of something up there because, the president, he's losing his ground, and then another one is they're looking at me real closely, and I can hear this.
Three wolves and a sheep trying to decide what's for dinner, right?
Yeah. So the other one sort of waves in there a little bit and says, "Yeah, that bar fella did the right thing, I think, by not going. If he'd have been showing disrespect for the president if he went." And the other 2 were looking a little bit confused. And before the other one could say anything, I said, "Is this what my world has come to? Has my world come to this? That I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm with 3 bright, good-looking, smart women, and somebody brings up politics. Really? Since when did housewives start talking about politics? When did that happen? And not one of them said anything about that challenged my feminist support or which is what I would have done if I'd been them. I'd have said, what? What do you mean, you people?
Don't say you people.
Yeah. But it just strikes me as we're in this weird spot in America now where people are just getting away with daylight robberies that as what'll happen when you take down one Alex Jones, you haven't taken down shit. In fact, it's a big plus, it's a big win, because then people who were Alex Jones's enemies even are going to come out and start talking up the First Amendment. You can't ban Alex Jones.
The kids at the university, he's on Facebook more now than before he was banned, because the kids at UT are making a game out of recording and uploading all his shows.
Well, what did I say? So that's exactly what I said. So now the Chatty Gypsies and the that fuck is that Essen guy? That guy. Well, just multiply that times hundreds of thousands, and then don't forget the Chinese and the Brazilian and Russian and everybody else who's going to have a say in our election by buying up Facebook. Facebook is about to sell an enormous amount of fucking broadband, man. That's what this next election is going to be about. It's going to be like the final chapter, with a scene on it like out of Iwo Jima or something. Facebook with this last contending, last man standing on Facebook or whatever. I mean, you remember what it was like in the last Morgan and pissed off American and stupid Dan with a hat in Florida. And I don't know. Now we got Phil in the woods. Old Phil in the woods.
Yeah, old Phil in the woods.
Yeah, Buxatawny Phil came out to see his shadow and was scared so badly that he failed to return to his hole and ran into the woods. So now we got old Phil in the woods.
You know, I'm going to give Phil credit though, man. Oh, Phil, who he caught in no scandal. He really don't, you know. It's like that, who's that idiot? Will, I don't want to say Will Sampson. He's a good guy. He's dead. Anyway, Will from the Smoking Guns, you know, I will never figure that out. I will never figure that out. You got a hit TV show. You got more money than God, okay? You're right down the road from New Orleans with more money than God. And you just got to screw your 12-year-old daughter. Just nothing will do, but you got to do this. And give the maid a key so she can come in and watch.
It's a hard habit to break. So it was just, you know, some of them habits. You want to rephrase that, Doctor?
I broke myself a fucking 12-year-old when I was 12. I don't know about you.
Well, I was just saying, it's hard to break. That's all it said.
Scandal.
Have fun cleaning that one up, Billy.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Ew. Well, we've rung this thing out pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me cut the tape here real fast, and we'll continue to talk, okay?
Something, yeah.
All right.
Something emerged out of that.
Yeah, I think it did. We finally got back to our old selves, you know. We got some good political content and some honest humor, you know. And I admitted when I was 12, I fucked a 12-year-old. You know?
I know that's like the big reveal. They saved it until the last post. So don't turn these podcasts off after 40 minutes, all right? Hang in there to the end, because you never know what you're going to hear.
Oh, by the way, folks, her name was Pam Burns, just so you want to know. And she had a booger in her nose.
Oh, that sounds so...
Yeah.
See, we hang on to those initial sexual encounters.
She had a nice butt, too.
But the whole booger thing, I mean...
I was kissing. We didn't like French kiss, you know, because, you know, we was like little Texans, you know. And we really didn't... I mean, it wasn't good sex. It was just kind of like there. I mean, she was still a virgin when it was over. That's how bad it was. But I was kissing her, and I looked down, and she had this big green booger in her left nostril. Okay, and that was.
That's why you just don't go around having sex with snotty nose kids, right? Because that'll haunt me for the rest of my day. Just your description of it.
Yep. Yeah, she had a big mean German mother, and me and Junior had to hide under the bed, you know, and her mother come up the stairs, and we get under the bed.
God damn, this sounds like some Pet Cemetery shit.
It really was. And her mother stopped around and said, "Bill, I know the India. Yeah. You know, and we were like, "Cool." You know, we're like 12 years old. Oh shit, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. Broomhilda's gonna kill us right now. Oh shit.
I mean, all to feel confusing but pleasure, followed by utter disgust, and then thoroughly uprooted and chased out of your consciousness by terror and fear, all in what, 5 minutes. That's just
that's the way it was. That was that's Texas, man. That's just Texas. That's the way it works.
Oh, I remember those days. Look, that's the whole thing. stand a fucking when they're out in the country like that, because Jesus Christ, there's no cable reception, there's no internet, and all there is to do is fuck. That's it.
That's it.
If your spouse dies, you get a pet.
That's it. Yep. Well, let me shut this thing down.
Thought you already did.
No, I got all that.
Like a box of chocolate, you never know what you're gonna get until you open it.